The Golden State Warriors found a new hidden gem, and that man's name is Lester Quinones. As you all know, Lester has been playing fantastic for the Golden State Warriors Summer League team, and he recently just dropped 26 points in front of Steph Curry and Chris Paul. It has now been rumored that the Golden State Warriors are going to call him up on his two-way contract and have him play for the Golden State Warriors official roster. So in today's video, we're going to be going through 5 reasons why Lester is perfect for this Golden State Warriors team and how he's going to help them win another NBA championship. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hit that red button down below. The first is that Lester Quinones fills the gap that Jordan Poole left. As you all know, Golden State Warriors traded Jordan Poole to the Washington Wizards in exchange for Chris Paul, and although this is a great trade, what I do believe is that Chris Paul doesn't fit what Jordan Poole was supposed to be, and that is a pure scoring man for that second unit. However, I believe that Lester Quinones fills that role perfectly when it comes to being a scorer for that second unit. He did play for the G League last season for the Santa Cruz Warriors, and he actually averaged that season 20.2 points. He's 6'4", 208 pounds, and played a guard position for the Santa Cruz Warriors, and he did a fantastic job when it came to scoring. If we actually dive deep into the numbers, you see that he had a great usage percentage when it came to scoring at 26%, so he was responsible for 26% of the points for the Santa Cruz Warriors team and had one of the highest usage rates out of any player in the Santa Cruz Warriors. So this was honestly fantastic to see. Lester Quinones is a fantastic player when it comes to scoring, and he can definitely provide that to this Golden State Warriors team. Now, playing for the Santa Cruz team, he did actually average great percentages when it came to offense. He had a 35.3% three-point shooting percentage, which was fantastic, and also had a free throw percentage of 77.8. He also had a great field goal percentage of 45%, but I think what makes his game so deadly is definitely due to the fact that he's not only just an inside scorer, but he's also an outside scorer as well. And that's what really makes him dangerous out there. We definitely see that in the Summer League, guys. When you watch his highlights, he's not only just scoring from one way, he's scoring in multiple different ways. Pick and roll, inside scoring, outside scoring, maybe a little step back three. It's definitely something that Jordan Poole was supposed to be when it came to last season's playoffs. However, he wasn't really able to provide that. However, it seems that Lester Quinones can definitely be that guy. He's a bit, bigger in size when it comes to Jordan Poole as well, so he can definitely take hits better in the paint. Jordan Poole was a great finisher around the ring, but what he really did struggle on was definitely due to the fact when he had bigger players inside. For example, if we look at the Lakers when they had Anthony Davis inside, Jordan Poole really struggled to score due to the fact that he didn't have the right size and strength in order to match that. If we look at the weight difference, you see that Jordan Poole actually only weighed 194 pounds, while Lester Quinones actually weighs 208 pounds. So Lester is definitely a bigger body inside the paint, and that's what makes him such a great finisher inside the paint as well. Now, on top of this, we saw Jordan Poole last season actually average 20.4 points, and I can definitely see Lester being able to do the same. But now that Chris Paul is also a part of that, you definitely don't need to have Lester scoring 20-25 points a game. Even if he averages around 10 to 15 and Chris Paul averages around 10 to 15, then you have a recipe for success in getting 2 players for 1, and that 1 player being Jordan Poole. The second is that Lester Quinones is a fantastic playmaker. Now, I think this is something that is so important, but Lester, standing at 6'4", 208 pounds, he was actually moved into the shooting guard position when it came to playing for Santa Cruz and also with the Summer League. Now, when it comes to that position, he was actually a point guard back playing in college. However, he has moved up to the wing position, and he is now a fantastic playmaker at that wing position. I think it's something that is definitely different, especially in today's NBA. You don't see a lot of wing players, especially if we look at Golden State Warriors. When it comes to Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins, they're not really playmakers in that sense. However, Lester can definitely provide that. He has great vision around the ring, especially when it comes to driving and dishing off to maybe a big man inside the paint, and he has that capability to be able to use that vision to find players, whether it's out on the 3 or whether it's a drop pass to the inside. But the fact that they have moved him into that wing position, I think was honestly a great move. It now gives Chris Paul, if he is going to be playing with that second unit, to be able to run his true point guard position, and now Lester can run that 2-man and be a great playmaker in that sense. I think it will work really well with Chris Paul due to the fact that Chris Paul can definitely score now, and I think that with Lester coming off, screens, all that nature, he can definitely find Chris Paul in the 3 or maybe a great bucket in there. But I think Lester, when it comes to his playmaking, if we look at the stats that he actually did average for the G League Santa Cruz Warriors, he was actually averaging 4 assists, which was fantastic. Now, to put that in perspective as well, he actually had a very high usage rate when it came to assists, where he was actually having 27.5% responsible for all assists. So great usage rate in that sense, and I think he can definitely provide that same for the Golden State Warriors. If we actually look at the Warriors numbers last season, they actually ranked first in assists, so that's really good to see from the Golden State Warriors, and the fact that they add someone like Lester now into the mix, I think will only make this team better. Lester is going to be on a two-way contract right now, but it has been mentioned by Steve Kerr that he is probably going to be having Lester play a lot more games this season or this upcoming season, which I think will be fantastic for the team. But Lester playing that wing position, being able to play make to someone like Chris Paul for that second unit, or maybe even other players like Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, these sort of players definitely really rely on catch and shoot plays, and I do believe that adding Lester, who is a fantastic playmaker and ball handler in that sense, can definitely help this team even flourish, especially for that second unit. The third is that Lester Quinones is a fantastic rebounder. Now I think this may come to everyone's surprise, but Lester can actually rebound and had a lot of 10+ rebound games in the G League, and I think this was honestly huge to see, especially for someone like Lester, who is a 6'4" guard. Now yes, you have other players like Gary Payton II already in the team that can rebound very well, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, but I think now adding someone like Lester can really help this team push even further. As you all know, the Warriors' biggest upset when it came to last season was definitely due to the fact that they had really bad rebounding throughout the season, not just in the playoffs but also in the regular season, because they actually ranked 15th when it came to rebounds allowed and also ranked 8th in rebounds. Now although this may be pretty good when it comes to ranking 8th, if you do remember the Golden State Warriors the season before when they won the championship against the Boston Celtics, they actually ranked 2nd in rebounds. So rebounds is a very important part of the game, and they definitely could use a lot more rebounders, which is one of the reasons why they made that trade for Dario Saric, who is a bigger center. Now because of those reasons, I think adding Lester would honestly be fantastic. Lester in the G League actually averaged 6.2 rebounds, which was great, and he actually had a great usage percentage when it came to rebounds at 20.7%. So that's really good, especially for a guard. You usually see guards get around 3-4 rebounds per game, so for him to have the usage rate or be responsible for 20% of the rebounds for Santa Cruz, I think was honestly fantastic. It can definitely help this Golden State Warriors team. If we look at the Warriors, the biggest rebounders so far have been Kevon Looney that last current season, Draymond Green, and also Stephen Curry. Now Stephen Curry, although he was averaging 6 rebounds and I think is fantastic, I definitely should see him a lot less rebounds due to the fact that his main focus should be more on scoring in that nature. So adding more rebounders to this team will definitely ease off a lot of what Steph Curry has to do, whether it's on the defensive end, offensive end, all these different things, and I think he can just focus on a lot more bigger things, which is him scoring and being able to hit those 3-pointers. So I think that is really important to actually understand. Yes, it may look good on the stat sheet to see Steph Curry averaging 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and also averaging 29 points last season. However, you do got to realize that it does take a toll and it does affect other areas if you have to do all 3. So I do believe that when it comes to Lester, he can provide a lot, even being at 6'4". Gary Payton II is roughly around the same height, and he does a fantastic job in rebounding as well. So having a guard that can also rebound only just pushes them further, and it should be able to push them into the top 5 when it comes to rebounding next season. The fourth is that Lester Quinones plays a lot like Stephen Curry. Now, as you all know, it's every Warriors fan's dream to find the next Steph Curry when the day that Curry retires, and I think we may have found someone that plays very similar. If you look at Lester Quinones' highlights, the ones that I'm showing right now, you definitely see Lester has a lot of the same game style when it comes to how he likes to score. It's step back threes, fadeaway threes, all these different movements on the 3 ball, which has honestly been insane for his career when we look at Stephen Curry's. And Lester is definitely following close suit. If we see the way he scores off a pick and roll, it's definitely off a lot of 3 ball action, and I do believe that is going to help him when it comes to playing in the NBA. The NBA, you face some of the toughest defense in the world, and because of that, Lester has the capability to be able to score in all facets, whether it's inside, whether it's outside, which is a lot like Stephen Curry. I think what makes his play style so special when it comes to what Lester and Curry both have is definitely due to the fact that they are such great scorers from the 3 ball line. It opens up the inside game for them and also spaces out the floor a lot more as well. It's definitely very difficult to shoot a fadeaway 3, step back 3, all these different things, and there have only been a couple of players that have been able to perfect it. Some of them are definitely Stephen Curry. You also have James Harden, who's another one of those people. Now, when it comes to Lester, he definitely has a long way to go to become on Curry's level, but I do believe he definitely has the right mentality and the right play style to match and be very similar to to him. What I do believe makes him so special as well is due to the fact the way he plays with so much confidence is able to have him score at will. That no fear attitude that he has when it comes to playing in the G League definitely had him score a bunch of big games. He had a game where he had 42 points and 12 rebounds, and a lot of his scoring was definitely on the three, and if you look at the highlights, it's definitely a lot of fadeaway threes, step back threes, and it's just honestly a sight to see. If anyone plays like that, the only person you can think of in the NBA that does that is Curry himself, and that's why I do believe Lester is definitely on the right track when it comes to his play style. If he continues to play with this much confidence and be able to get better every single day, we definitely could have a Curry 2.0 coming off the bench, which would honestly be fantastic for the Warriors team and pretty much make them unstoppable. The fifth is that the Golden State Warriors have Lester Quinones for very cheap. Now, as you all know, Lester is on a two-way contract, but I do believe he has a lot of potential over the next couple of years. We've seen Golden State Warriors be able to turn normal players into absolute superstars, Gary Payton II potentially being one of them, and definitely it has been a really great process to see some young players be able to turn into absolute stars. And because of this, I definitely see Lester becoming that over the next couple of years. Golden State Warriors have him under a good two-way contract, and I do believe over time, Golden State Warriors will be able to have him eventually become a very main role player. Lester can do a lot, and I think the fact that he has the guidance now of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, and now even someone like Draymond Green and others can definitely really help him grow as a player and continue to push further. Lester has a long way to go. He's still very young at 22 years of age, but he definitely has the right people around him, the right play style and right mindset in order for him to become an all-out superstar one day. Even though he's at 22 years old, I think he definitely plays a lot more mature for his age, and it's really only just up from here, especially for playing for a team like the Golden State Warriors.